didn't get on with him what the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, where's our chairman? Wake him up. Get him out of the ship, please. Get him over here. All righty.
Scott, whenever you're ready.
Yep. All right, folks. We have like a food voucher for the folks that have.
So I'm gonna go to the ship, please. Get us a cheeseburger.
Gonna need more cheeseburger.
Go away.
Don't need
Go
that.
away.
All right.
Thank you. Go ahead, Scott.
You want to start?
Yes.
Well, welcome to Madison's Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Can we have a roll call?
Scott Baldwin.
Here.
Mark Acosta.
Here.
Rick Ferris.
Here.
Carl Eaglin.
Here.
Nancy Burkhart.
Here.
Board members, have you had a chance to look over the minutes? Are there any additions or corrections?
I make a motion we approve the minutes as printed.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Renewals. This time there were 6 renewals, and every one of them has paid. There have been no complaints. In the interest of time, I move we renew these conditional uses.
Second.
Now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. They are renewed. We have 3 items of new business. The first one on the agenda is, here we go. Brenda Cooper is the applicant, 301 and 307 West Street. That's the Mad Paddle LLC, and they are requesting a conditional use, having purchased the business. And somebody come up and speak to this. If you could give your name and address for the record, tell the board what your plans are, if there's any changes from what it used to be.
Okay. My name is Brenda Cooper, and our place is called the Mad Paddle Brewstillery, and we are requesting that we brew beer and distill at the Mad Paddle site. This was a ongoing thing prior to us buying it, so we just want to continue on with this, but in the Mad Paddle name.
So you're not substantially changing anything, really,
No.
except having a brew pub.
Is the equipment in place right now? Can you
Yes,
use the
it
equipment's
is.
already there?
Yes.
Okay.
So there will be no other changes. We haven't added or taken away anything.
And I would note that a brew pub is conditional use number 220, which was put on the agenda, or put on the list of uses in June of 2018. And the only restrictions really is that over 50% of the floor area has to be associated with a tavern or restaurant, and you meet that. I'm judging from what you submitted. Personally, the only concern I have is that outdoor patio. Now that, we allowed it several years ago, and at the time I had some reservations, but to my knowledge, there never were any complaints. And I also get the feeling there were no complaints because it was never really used. But right next door to you is an apartment house, literally 10 feet away, with windows overlooking that. And my reservation is if there's music or things like that, that'd be really damaging to that property owner. So could you elaborate on what you have in mind for that patio?
Well, on the patio, we would plan to have some soloists playing and maybe bands. I'm not going to count that out, but we're going to change the direction of which way that it goes. I know that the guy across the street, he plays in a band as well. And no, what's the guy across the street?
Is it Brooke?
Brooke, yes. He just said, Ryan Dollar, yes. He said that whenever the music was playing prior, that it would rattle his windows. So we're going to work with Brooke and also keep the apartment complex in mind and see how they feel about it and make sure that there is no complaints. And if they do have issues, we're going to try and accommodate them as well.
I would just note for the board, there is a noise ordinance that we have that also has, I'm remembering because it all started a while back, but it has times associated with the noise.
It's 10 o'clock, isn't it, during the week?
10 o'clock in the evening is when noise is supposed to cease.
Yeah, I think it's something like that, and there's measurements and things like that. And we did that primarily at the time, or one of the big factors in working with that was with Broadway, because they were having music out on their patio. And so that was one of the reasons and how we crafted it at that particular time, so. And it seemed to have helped with that situation and work.
I know Shaw and Saul and the others all abide by that 10 o'clock rule because I hear the music from my back porch and 10 o'clock they turn it off. So
But
I like
still,
the music.
in my thinking, that apartment house next door may well have a tenant there that works the night shift, and he has to sleep. And now he has to listen to music, keeps him awake, and that just, board members, you can have other concerns, or that may not be a concern to you, but it is to me.
I kind of agree with Joe. We have an ordinance in place now, and I don't think we can do anything to void and supersede it. Just abide by the local ordinance that we have.
I mean, I think too, it's, you're just continuing a business that had been there and been acceptable, or been accepted in the area, no complaints that I know of, staff, if I'm saying that correctly.
Well, I think
Yes,
she
the
said,
staff received no complaints. This is essentially just a continuation of Mr. Wade's, which is still active if he had not sold it. So he, at that time, was advised by the planning staff there to put the conditional use in his name, but it was never changed over when he changed the legal ownership to Mad Paddle. If that had been done, then they would not have to be
They
here.
wouldn't even be asking.
Correct.
Okay.
right, and she's aware, and you've talked to Brooke, and, you're willing to work with them, so that shows that you are aware of what happens with your neighbors.
Yes.
So that's something too.
My only proposal would have been to allow outdoor dining and such, but no music. But board members, you, of course, may disagree. Any other questions or comments, board members?
I think the noise ordinance addresses that. That's what it's for.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak for or against this proposed conditional use? See no overwhelming opposition. One last chance, board members. Any other questions or comments? Well, you can have a seat, ma'am.
Thank you.
And we will go through our, in the interest of time, as you know, we have 9 criterion for a conditional use. So I'm just going to go down them and ask if anybody has any problems. And this is conditional use number 729, which is other entertainment we settled on several years ago. And number 220, a brew pub. So number 1, any objections? Think these are the wrong numbers?
No objections.
No objection.
Number 2, anybody have any objections?
No objection.
No,
None.
Number 3,
No
No.
objection.
no objection.
number 4, hazardous disturbing.
No objections.
Number 5,
No objection.
number 6,
No objection.
number 7,
Nope.
number 8,
No.
and number 9.
No.
Now, staff, and I want to commend the staff publicly for these sheets you're handing out to us, listing the comprehensive plan, Indiana law. I give you a pat on the back. They have recommended, staff has, a renewal period of 5 years, and it's issued to the business name of Mad Paddle and not necessarily to the owner.
Currently, the Mad Paddle LLC is listed as the owner of the parcel
Right.
now.
Are there any legal considerations to listing that? That won't make,
It should be property.
and I agree. The reason we're doing this is because we have a new owner, and a new owner can make new problems or make things work real well. Therefore, I move we approve this conditional use for A, a period of 1 year, B, if there are no complaints within that 1 year, the renewal period will be 5 years, and it's issued in the name of Brenda Cooper. That's my motion.
I just want to know that Mad Paddle LLC is the legal property owner of the property,
Ah.
not Brenda Cooper. I
Okay.
don't know if that changes your motion.
Well,
but
then
just
I
wanted to
will
know
change
that.
my motion accordingly. So I'll read it again, staff, or board members. I move we approve this conditional use for a period of 1 year. Second, if there are no complaints in that 1 year, the renewal period will be 5 years thereafter, and the permit will be issued to Mad Paddle LLC. That's my motion.
I'll second your motion.
I think we have a roll call.
Scott Baldwin,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Mark Costa,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart.
Yes.
You have your conditional use, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I hope you understand, the first term will be 1 year. You operate with no complaints, pay your renewal fee, and then thereafter it'll be 5 years.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Next item on the agenda is, make sure I do this right. Timothy Waters, conditional use permit, category 581, retail, hotels, tourist courts, etc. 319 Central Avenue, Central Business District. It's essentially for an Airbnb. So, would someone come up and speak to this? If you give your name and address for the record, tell the board what your proposal is.
Hi, Tim Waters, 5241 Madison Pike in Independence, Kentucky is our address. 319 Central Avenue here in Madison is the property we purchased. We plan to make some minor renovations to the property and then use it as an Airbnb.
Staff has brought up, personally, I have no objections to an Airbnb, but the problem here is parking. And 10 people, that could be 10 cars. There is virtually no parking on Central Avenue, and the temptation will be to park in that city parking lot, and that's a private lot. It's reserved for the use of city employees. And staff, I think, is rightly concerned about people parking in there, and probably getting towed if they do. I wouldn't be surprised that happens. Staff has proposed that this be limited to 6 people. That would be 6 cars max, probably. More likely 3 cars or something. Board members, do you have any questions or comments about the parking or other issues?
Yeah, it's a 3-bedroom house, is that correct?
It is, yeah.
So if you were thinking 10 people, where would you have them sleep?
Yeah, so the bedrooms are quite large, right? So we were planning on putting either bunk beds and in one or two bedrooms, and then a fold-out sofa in the living room. And in terms of the house rules, I mean, we could put in a provision about the maximum number of cars allowed, even if we allow more guests.
That might be an out on that.
Right.
Yeah.
We could,
Yeah, you put that in your rules that they know right up front there, and then
sure,
just
right,
have to carpool like everybody else does this day and age anyway.
exactly, yeah.
3 cars and a moped.
And by the way, speaking of house rules, this is about the best set I've seen.
Well, thank you.
In fact, I've thought about recommending portions of this to staff to say, here is what the Board of Zoning Appeals would like to see. It's really good.
I want you to know that means a lot. This gentleman's a connoisseur of these house rules.
Thank you very much.
That's fact.
And if you met his criteria, you did very well.
There's a high threshold to get over. You made it.
Good.
You've done well. You laid it on the line. You misbehave, you're out.
Now, will you have a local contact if there is an issue with your property since you live in Independence?
Yes, I work remotely,
Oh,
and
okay.
my work schedule allows a lot of flexibility anyway, but yes, I do have local contacts
Okay.
for handy services.
Yeah, if they call you and say,
Right. If I can't
your
get
water's
here-
plugged up or something,
Right.
yeah,
If I
okay,
couldn't get here within an hour and a half, then I could get someone here
okay,
to do it.
very good.
But and I live downtown, and I'm surrounded by Airbnbs. I have an Airbnb to my north, and I have an Airbnb to my south. And 10 people, it is a lot of people in a neighborhood. So I'm kind of siding with staff on this for 6 people. It's 2 per bedroom. And I'm not saying you're going to have loud people, but 10 people is quite a lot of people to have next door to you.
Any other questions, comments, board members?
Nicole, 2 per bedroom, how does that align with what we've approved on other Airbnb? That sounds somewhat consistent.
It's very consistent. It's also the amount that is going to be proposed in the updated Unified
Okay.
Development Ordinance.
Yeah, so I would lean with them as well towards that.
There is a huge problem in that area with parking. And we certainly don't want to create a problem of people parking in the city lot,
Understood.
which will hurt your reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time a guest goes out and sees his car gone, this is not going to show up well on the recommendations. Any other questions or comments, board members?
And did we have a concern from a neighbor about the sidewalk or?
Yes. Yep. I have that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A bit of housekeeping, legal housekeeping. I move we include this letter from Mary Ann Imes in the public record. You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's accepted into the record.
Can you read what their concern is?
Ref House Rules, number 4, 10 guests. Staff has recommended a max 6 guests. This is helpful due to the parking issue. Number 6, pre-approval weddings, bachelor parties. Once again, staff has recommended a maximum of 6
Well,
guests.
I was talking about the Mary Ann Imes.
That's
Part of it, okay, I'm sorry.
And this is all part of her email, I presume.
This was a phone conversation, though?
This is an email follow-up from a phone conversation. And I told her I would provide this to the
And
board.
she also says, house rules to address garage and space marked in yellow located immediately north of 319 Central. House rules will identify that area as no parking at any time. Please know I feel uncomfortable with staff suggesting I contact the police to correct violation. The sidewalk leading from garage to the back entrances of 205 and 207 West Main cannot be used as a walkway to the side entrance of the 319 Central property. A cooling unit and garbage containers block the 319 sidewalk. Please, guests need to be informed sidewalk to the north is private property. Sincerely, Mary Ann Imes, who lives at 201, 207 West Main. So this is her concern, that in your rules, you should include that sidewalk leading from our garage to the back entrances of 205 and 207 is private property.
If I may, I agree it's private property. I was under the impression it was ours. I was told that the sidewalk between the property and the adjacent garage leading back, in fact, there's stairs that lead up to I guess an entrance to a private residence that are on a easement of our property. So I'm not sure I follow the
Staff.
garage there.
I'm not sure on that. It's because I don't know that unless they have had it surveyed, I'm not sure that this area's been surveyed to distinguish whose is whose, but that would be between him and that property
You say
owner.
there's a heating or air conditioning unit in that gangway?
Yeah, our air
Is that your
conditioning
unit?
unit is next to our house, right? And there's a wide sidewalk that leads back between the property to the north, and then there's some wooden stairs that lead up to, I think, a private entrance to someone's residence. But those stairs are, I believe, on our property. I was told by the previous owner that they have an easement on our property to access those stairs. So I guess there's just some confusion about that, right? Because we use that back entrance regularly when we're here.
I guess you'd have to settle that one with a survey. So really, there wouldn't be much this board could do.
Right.
Any other questions, comments, board members? No. Is there any consensus or agreement with you, or anything you'd like to say about how many people should stay there?
Well, I think we should stay with what we have been doing with 2 people per bedroom.
I think it's important that Nicole points out that in the draft versions of the new ordinance, that is what is being proposed at this point as well. So if that gets accepted, that means ongoing, that would be the, that would be the
Yeah.
set rule. It
understood.
wouldn't be a board decision, so.
Is that gonna keep you from going on with your project to limit to 6?
To be truthful, right, the more guests we can accommodate, the better.
Right.
We
I understand, yeah.
Right, so 10 was our aim, right,
Right.
but 6 is understandable.
Okay.
I'd ask if anybody'd like to speak for or against, but I don't think the press over there is.
He's tired.
He's unbiased.
You're okay with it, he's okay with it.
He's a neutral party.
One last chance, board members, any other things?
Nothing else
No.
here. No.
Well, you can have a seat, sir. And we'll go through our findings of fact.
Where we go limit number of cars.
That would be in a motion. And once again, with your permission, I'll just go down the list and you can cite any comments you may have. First one, this is under category 581, category 581. Any disagreements?
No.
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 Number 2, any comments?
No.
No.
Number 3,
No.
number 4, hazardous or
No.
disturbing. Number 5, utilities.
No.
Number 6.
No.
No.
Number 7, excessive production of stuff.
No.
Number 8, approaches, vehicles.
No.
And number 9, historic features.
Nope.
No.
Well, we have gone through our findings of fact. There are no objections. And I move we approve this conditional use for a period of 1 year, that the rules provided with the application be enforced, and maximum 6 guests.
Second.
And can we have a roll call?
Mark Acosta,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart,
Yes.
Scott Baldwin.
Yes. Well, sir, we wish you well. Last item on the agenda.
I think he had a question, Nicole. Did you have a question for Nicole?
Did I?
Oh, okay, I thought, okay. Thank you.
Doesn't look like we have anybody here. The application was for a variance of developmental standards, Gene Spencer, 313 East Street.
Yes, I will say Mr. Spencer sat through the entire plan commission meeting to realize he did not send out his certified letters.
Oh, wow.
So
Poor guy.
he's fine.
He's
He's going to
fine.
come in tomorrow and get the list of residents that he needs to send them to. But yes, so his application is to be is tabled until the next meeting.
Well, I think we should vote on that. I move we table this application till our next regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is tabled. There was one other thing. It was a proposed change to the rules of procedure. Would you like to discuss that now, or just talk about it next time? Any
Now's-
preferences?
We can do it now.
Now's fine.
Okay. There's a couple of proposals, change the rules of procedure. First one is under Article 9, Meeting Agenda, Section 1. And basically, board members, as you can see, this is just specifies the order of presentation, conditional use applications, variance of developmental standards, variance of use. The next one was under Article 10, Disposition of Petitions, Section 2. If you'll notice, there is a detailed spelling out. Essentially what this is under our lovely new information we're given by staff. Staff has decided to make recommendations. And based on what I've seen, they're pretty well what we've done over the years and meetings. And this just codifies it, that it will give whoever's leading the meeting the chance to merely say, staff has recommended this, this, and this. Is that all right with you? We make a motion to accept. And if somebody disagrees, then we can make another motion with whatever.
So we do have by board, we can accept or reject the staff's recommendations.
Exactly.
So that would still be in our
It's still under the board's
ballpark.
power.
Yeah.
Or there are so many of these things are routine, like rebuilding something on the same foundation,
Right.
those matter of things.
I know
So we
that-
can either accept what the staff recommends, a motion to accept the staff prepared findings. If the motion to accept the staff prepared findings fails, the chairman shall ask each member to respond in other words, if it fails
Okay, yeah.
and staff's recommendations, and we'll go down the list and then make another motion.
I
The
think
board
it's
still
thorough.
retains final power.
I think it's thorough, and I think it also will help speed up some of the meetings.
I agree. I agree. I think it makes good sense.
Well, then I move that we accept the proposed rules of procedure amendments.
I'll second your motion.
And can we have a roll call?
Scott Baldwin,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart.
Yes.
Mark Costa.
Yes.
Is there anything I've forgotten, omitted? Motion to adjourn?
Best meeting of the year.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Who
no.
seconded that?
Carl did.
You made the motion, but who seconded the motion?
Scott.
Scott.
No, Scott did.
Thank you.
Well, 3 people made the motion and
Yes.
Rick wasn't.
4 people seconded it.